Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Becoming a Woman TV. I hope you're doing well, and I think this is the first video after the conference, so I just wanted to use this opportunity one more time to just say thank you to everyone who was part of the conference, and thank you for all your messages and your love. And we want to thank God as well for the success of the Becoming a Woman conference and for everyone who took part in this conference. We want to say thank you so much. We are grateful. And if depending on what time you see this video or when it goes live, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you so much. So today I just wanted to just share something that's been on my mind, that just came to my mind recently, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So we're still, depending on what time you watch this video, we're still kind of in the Christmas period. And I think a few days back, it just came to me. There was something that, when you look at the story and the birth of Jesus, there are a few points that I think I've recently learned actually myself about the story of Jesus, about the birth of Jesus. Apparently, Jesus wasn't really born on a December 25th. There have been so many speculations about what day or what month it was born. Some people have said it was May, some were saying it's January, some were saying it's April. But obviously, we don't really know the day it was born. But I think the December 25th was attributed to be the day that will celebrate the birth of Jesus. So that is one thing. And then when you read about the story again, there was another thing that we read about the story of Jesus, that when Herod, if you look at the story of Herod, the three wise men, they came, asked him, we all know the story. Who doesn't? So I don't need to start sharing it with you again. We all know the story. The wise men came to ask him, we heard there's a son, a king has been born. Where is he? Blah, blah, blah. And then Herod was jealous. And that's where I want to go to. I want to talk about what I learned from that story alone, the story of Herod, and how he reacted to what he has heard. So he heard about a king has been born. Now, what I don't understand, and why I don't understand why a king, I don't know what age Herod would have been by that time, but he's a big old man, okay? So he heard that a new king has been born. Has just been born. Now, that's another thing we always seem to forget. We always think, there is every possibility that by the time these three wise men came to Herod, Jesus Christ may have been about 2 years old by the time, because when you look at when Herod asked for said that every child under the age of 2, from 2 downwards, should be killed. So there's also speculation that Jesus, when these three wise men came, wasn't really on the day that he was born, and it may have been when Jesus was just about 2 years old that they actually did come to now offer the frankincense and things like that. Now, like I was saying earlier, the big old king, old man, in comparison with the baby Jesus, or little Jesus, got jealous of a king that has been born. Let's think about it. He's old. By the time this child grows, who is the newborn king, by the time he grows up, he would probably be old, and probably be very, very old and weak, and he'd probably be dead, if not. And so for him to just react in such a way, what moved him? Why would he do such a thing? Why would he be jealous of a child? It's still a child, a little baby, a baby. And you are a grown man. By the time this child grows up to actually be the king, you probably won't still be alive by then. And it just gives us an example of what a lot of adults do these days. They, instead of them to just be happy, it could be probably because it was jealous. Maybe he didn't want, it was thinking it's going to be from his own family, because obviously that's the normal thing. Maybe his own son would be it, but because he heard that another child from nowhere has been born to be the king, still there was no reason for him to react that way. It was not a good enough reason for him to react that way. It's a good representation of what happens in this day and age. A lot of grown men, grown leaders, They, for some reason, they are so jealous of the younger ones that they don't really want to leave the, there's a lot of countries, I mean, like, permit me to say, African countries where there are still being kings, presidents that have been there for 100 years, I don't know, for as long as, since they've been like very young, and they've taken it as a kingdom, hierarchy, whereas it's supposed to be a democratic country, but they have stayed there and continue to stay there, and they will tell people to vote, whereas no matter how much they vote, they still end up being the same president for many years. And they just don't want the younger ones to come up. Why? I don't understand. Why? I don't want to be political here, but this is exactly what happened. So it's just it's just making us to understand that these things that we see now has happened in those age, has happened in those times, there's nothing new, like they always say, there's nothing new under the sun. So that's just one thing. And another thing is, why did he have to kill the children? Why? Does he think that if he kills all the children why? Because of one child, just one child that was born, you tell it to kill all the children in a nation? That is unreasonable. Jealousy kills. Jealousy itself, it's not a bad thing in general. It's just what you do with it. It's how you react to it. So jealousy could drive you to love, and it could drive you to hatred. And in the case of Herod, it drove him to hatred, to wickedness, to killing people. One time I have been jealous, and it has driven me to do something that I regretted afterwards. And after then, I made decision never to be jealous again. However, I'm not gonna say that I've not felt jealousy in one way or the other, even though maybe I may have even decided to just ignore it, but that's the thing. I felt jealous, but I ignored it. When I mean ignored it, I did not act upon it. Okay. And I think what I also helped me is that knowing that I am loved by God. I think it's just the most amazing thing ever. And even if for any reason at all you feel jealous about anybody for what they have or what they don't have, just knowing that, remember that God loves you. He loves you more than you could ever imagine. Herod acted on his jealousy in a negative way, and it led to the death of many. So we have to be careful when we're jealous, when we feel jealousy within us, when we see people excelling, people doing well. Let's be happy for them. You don't know what they've gone through. You don't know what they've gone through. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what the battles they've had to fight for them to get to where they are right now. So just be happy for them. Be very happy for them, because yours too will come. And another thing, which is probably be the last thing I'm going to say about the story of Herod and what I've learned, is that a king has been born, but he lacked understanding. He lacked understanding. He lacked insight, because the king they're talking about is not the physical king. The king they were saying is not the king that he was thinking. And that's another thing we need to realize. We need insight. For me, we need insight. We need to really understand. God talks to us sometimes in parables. What he's saying is what he is. But because of the way we think of it the other way. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm talking to you guys now. So because of the way we think, so I think it's a matter of praying to God that God should renew our mind, that we will think the way He wants us to think. Because I want to say that the way He thinks, maybe. But no one can think the way God thinks, no one can do that. But when it comes to certain things that He's revealing to us, that God should open up our mind to really understand what He's saying. That's basically where I'm going to. Because He's a king, truly. He's a king, but He's not the king of the world. He's not the king that will sit on the earthly throne. He's a king above. But Herod lacked that. He did not understand that. He thought it was a king that would come and replace him or whatever. And when we look at the life of Jesus, let's just fast forward a little bit. He did not live a life of a king, did he? No. So I think what I'm trying to say here in general is that we need understanding. When God speaks to us, we need to understand. We need God, because I'm saying this from my own experience, that God has told me certain things and I've understood it in a completely different way. And because of the way I understood it, obviously it's created frustration, because that's what happened to everyone. They got frustrated. Imagine when he was not able to, he thought, he got frustrated, he was upset, he was angry, and he decided to act, he was jealous, and he decided to act on his frustration and his anger and everything. So I've had experience like that where I did not really understand what God was telling me. I just took it word for word in my own little understanding. And when I was not saying it forthcoming, I became frustrated, I became angry. But one thing I knew was that God cannot lie. And I keep telling myself that God cannot lie. So it's me. I'm the one that is not getting what God is trying to tell me here. I need to go back to Him and find out what He's saying. And in most cases, if you are not getting it, speak to people who God has put over your life to true men and women of God that God has put over your life to direct you and say, okay, this is what I heard. I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly. Please, can you help me? A lot of the time they might, sometimes they still might not get it, because sometimes what I've also come to learn is that when God gives you something, it's for you. And when it's for you, it's for you. It's only you, a lot of sometimes, that can understand it. And the people that who you may go to sometimes may not get it because it has not been revealed to them. So sometimes it's also just going back to God and be like, I don't understand. Can you let me understand what's going on and what you have said? You know. So it works either way, but I think the first thing I can always say is just go to God first. Go to God first. And if you're struggling, you can ask people to help you pray. Even if you don't want to tell them what's going on, just ask them to help you pray about certain things that you have received, but you should just open your eyes, because I've also come to understand the spirit, or I mean the power of when people pray together. There's, we say one we chase 1,000, two we chase 10,000. So you can get a prayer partner or someone that can also help you pray. That is what I want to share with you guys. And I hope that you guys have been blessed by this. I don't want to ramble on too much. So I hope you guys have been blessed by this. I hope it has, if one or two, you've been able to grab one or two things from what I have shared today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And have a wonderful day. And I will catch you again in the next video. Bye.